Morning, peeps. I don't even know, all steady, I don't even know if there's anything to talk about today. I mean, we filmed back-to-back days, haven't we? We've done 2 live streams. To be fair, all we've spoken about on the live streams is Josh Warrington and a bit about Zelfa Barrett and Kiko Martinez. So, there might be some stuff to talk about. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. I know I keep saying this, but we are very, very close to 25,000. I think we're on something like 24,600 and something. So we're close. We're close. Like and share the vids, peeps. Leave a comment, do all that good stuff to support the channel. I'm still a bit shocked about that Josh Warrington. Like, the whole thing has shocked me, if I'm honest with you. Just crazy, wasn't it? Just a crazy. That's why, unless you're a hardcore Josh Warrington fan, and I'm not a hardcore Warrington fan. I'm a Warrington fan, but I'm not a hardcore Warrington fan. But unless you're hardcore, that's why you love boxing, right? I mean, if you're a hardcore Warrington fan, obviously it's an extremely disappointing night. But if you're just a boxing fan, this is why we love the sport, for upsets like that. Because upsets don't really happen that much in boxing. Like, most times, the favourite wins. Most times. So yeah, this is why we love the sport. Let's just hope that Josh Warrington is okay. That's the most important thing for me. Let's hope he's okay. Let's hope he can come back. Let's hope he can sort of regroup, take some time out, and come back. Obviously, there has been a lot of talk about this rematch between the both of them. I just don't see the point, if I'm honest. If I don't see the point, move on. Move on. If there was a world title on the line, rematch. Try and get your belt back, because it's the most important thing. He vacated his belt prior to the fight. So there is no belt. So it's only pride, really, will take that fight again. Like, just move on. Because you don't want to fight a guy like that. You don't want to. Like, I've never looked at Josh Warrington as a boxer per se. So I've never looked at him as a very clean, technical boxer. He can clearly do those things, but I've looked at him as a guy that is 100 miles per hour, throwing punches and bunches. That's his style. If Warrington, for example, if Warrington was a boxer, like a pure boxer, and then just got involved and dragged into a phone booth scrap, then fair dues. But Warrington is a guy that fights in the phone booth. So, that's how he's going to have to fight the guy again. Why? Like, that guy clearly can take a punch, and that guy fucking hits like he has a sledgehammer in his hands. Swerve those kind of guys like the plague. I said it on my live stream yesterday. Amir Khan swerved Bradus Prescott literally until the end. Like, Prescott, up until a couple of years ago, was asking about the Amir Khan rematch just because he needs a fight. But Amir Khan didn't go back in with Bradus Prescott. Why? Because it's like, why am I getting back in with him? I'm not getting back in with him. This guy hits like a fucking truck. Amir Khan, for how many years I was asking Amir Khan to take the Danny Garcia rematch. Didn't want it. Didn't want it. Why? Because that guy hit hard. That guy hit hard, and I don't want no part of it. There are other options out there. I guess the only problem is Josh isn't a name like Amir. Amir had a name, had the name value, had a star celebrity like trainer in Freddie Roach. So Amir Khan was able to go and build without having to, like, you don't have to fight that guy because I'm Amir Khan, I can get other fights. Josh isn't that. So it's going to take longer for Josh to build, but you don't have to fight this guy and beat him. Like, okay, even if you were to fight him and beat him, what is that? Doesn't climb him back up the world title ladder. It doesn't. So if I'm Josh, Eddie, management team, I take a couple of gimme fights, the back end of 2021, and you know what people are like. Not that we'll forget about it in terms of that result, but we'll move on, and then he can fight others in 2022. Swerve that fucking guy. Swerve him. It's like when Charlie Edwards basically swerved that Martinez kid. When Martinez knocked him down but hit him when he was down, then so Charlie Edwards kept his belt Motherfucker vacated that belt. Vacated that belt, didn't he? Yes. Obviously there were weight issues and so on and so forth, but didn't want part of it. Swerve, people. Swerve. Zelfa Barrett, Kiko Martinez, they need to do that again. So that's a fight they need to do again. Kiko deserves that opportunity. I've looked at, there's so many like boxing people that I follow on social media. None of them had Zelfa winning that fight. And these are neutrals. These are people that score fights. These are people that, you know, have no vested interest in whoever wins. They all scored it for Kiko. Yeah, so Zelfa needs to run that shit again. That you need to run again, because that wasn't good. Carl Frampton here saying, long road back for Warrington. I hope Lara gets a title shot. Let's see. But yeah, I think Frampton also said something like, the amount of punishment he took in that fight, this is Josh, it's almost like having 4 or 5 fights in the same night. Like geez. He didn't know where he was at the end of the 4th round. Like, he was all over the place, and gotta save yourself, man. The corner's gotta save you. The corner has to save you. But yeah. Oh, what's this one? This is interesting. Pacquiao. I told Crawford's promoter, Bob, I want 40 million for the fight. Let's have a drink. So I read this yesterday that Pac-Man wants 40 million and that is expecting Crawford to want 10. So a 50 million pot of gold, and Pac-Man wants 40 of it. So yeah, Pac-Man doesn't want to fight Terence Crawford. Dustin Poirier fucked things up for Pac-Man. Pac-Man was going to fight Conor McGregor. They're signed to the same management company now. That fight was pretty much done and dusted. They were going to fight each other, and then all of a sudden Poirier F's it up, and now Pac-Man's searching for that money fight. Obviously that money fight isn't Ryan Garcia. It isn't. That money fight isn't Amir Khan. Although I'm surprised that hasn't been spoken about a bit more, just because of the Saudi Arabian thing. Because you think that they would put some big money on the table for it. Don't know. Or maybe all their money's now invested in AJ Fury, but I'm surprised that hasn't happened. So Pac-Man, yeah, wants big money to fight. And it's not just Crawford. He spoke about Errol Spence as well, wanting that kind of same split. I don't know. I actually don't know what Pac-Man's doing. Obviously, look, he's kind of vacated his belt. I think we can say that Ugas has got the belt now. There was this exhibition talk about Ryan. Who wants to see that? There has been some talk of late about Mikey. Pac-Man should just retire. Manny Pacquiao should just call it quits. I'm like, is Pac-Man in financial trouble or something? And I remember there was some talk about him being in financial trouble after the Mayweather fight, and a lot of that purse had to go to the tax man. Get a good accountant, people. Get a bloody good accountant. So I do wonder if he's broke. I know that sounds crazy because Pac-Man has had so many big fights. Loads. Big money fights, right? There was that run after he beat De La Hoya where he was in big fights, but there were big pay-per-view events as well. They felt big. All of them felt big. There was about 6 or 7 of them back-to-back. The Cotto one, the Hatton one, Marquez, you know what I mean? Margarito, they all felt very big. Joshua Clottey was big as well. That was at, I think, the Cowboy Stadium, and I think like 50,000 people came to watch it. They all felt very big. If this man is broke, then there's a problem. But I just don't see, there's just no one out there. If this is the kind of split he wants, he's obviously not going to get the big fights. Like no one, like Crawford's never going to say, yeah, I'll take 10. Never going to. Never. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if that's a massive pay-per-view fight. Either. I don't know if Crawford versus Pac-Man now does 500,000, so 500,000 pay-per-view buys. Does it? Does Crawford, I don't know. Does Spence Pac-Man do 500,000? Possibly does, actually. Possibly. Is that enough? So everyone eats well, including Pac-Man? Not sure. So yeah, so it looks like Pac-Man's pricing himself out of those fights. So you kind of wonder what he's going to do. I don't know. I've no idea what he does, if I'm honest with you. I spoke about this briefly yesterday, but good win for Richard Comey. Got the stoppage, didn't he? He's now, I don't want to, I'm not going to say he's back, but what I will say about Richard Comey is that, look, all these guys, so Lopez and all these guys, Haney, they're all clearly pricing themselves out of fighting each other. I think it's fair to say Haney wants this amount. Sorry, Lopez is the man that wants the most money because he thinks that he's done the most work. Richard Comey, Loma, you can't blame him. The thing about Comey is a name, and Comey certainly won't price himself out of fighting these guys. He would fight any of these guys. So he would take a considerable sort of cut in money to get in the ring with any of them, with any. I think it's a great fight for Devin Haney. I really do. And if I'm Devin Haney, if I can't get any of these guys, Richard Comey's the one I want next. Because for me, Richard Comey, in my 135 pound rankings, he's probably about 7 or 8. So Richard Comey's the one that I think Devin Haney should go for if he can't get some of the big boys. And I don't think he's going to get any of the big boys until 2022, maybe even 2023, people. I know it sounds crazy, but does it look like these fights are happening? Does it? I don't think so. What else have we got? I did see something about Teofimo Lopez, and he was basically saying, this is it, Teofimo Lopez, I love ESPN and Top Rank, but if we can't meet terms, I'm taking my talents elsewhere. Now, this is in reference to the fight with, it's his mandatory, Kambosos, sorry. I always do that name incorrect. I do apologize. George Kambosos, who beat Lee Selby. Now, obviously, he wants to be paid. Now, this is the way Teofimo is. And Bob Arum, and I think all the boxing world don't really deem this that big a fight. It's a big fight. I think I like the fight. But it's not your A-level fight, is it? Do you know what I mean? It's not that. Tio doesn't believe it is that. Tio wants to be paid for it. So he's basically talking about, taking his talents elsewhere if he doesn't get what he wants for that fight. I like Tio, but Tio could become a diva in this boxing world because of that win over Loma now. Could become a diva. I don't know, man. Get your worth, right? If he feels like that's his worth, get your worth. Get your worth, Tio. Just, yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with Teofimo, if I'm honest with you. A lot of people are talking about this Tyson Fury weight thing. Everyone, I think, looked at Tyson Fury. He went into the beach in Morecambe, and everyone's saying he looked severely overweight. I don't think he looks severely overweight. Look, Tyson Fury is never body beautiful. Just one of those people. One of those people, although he has got a very, very experienced nutritionist now called George Lockhart, who's done a lot of stuff with MMA guys over the years, like one of the best in the business. I don't know, I just feel that's how he looks. Like, that's how he looks. I don't, like, there's some people I say, like basically, he doesn't have to have a six-pack for me to know he's in shape. Like, Tyson Fury is just one of those guys that is just, that's it. There was a guy in the MMA world years ago called Chuck Liddell, former UFC light heavyweight champion, had a belly, always had a belly. But this guy will fuck you up. It will fuck you up. Tyson Fury is that. So I don't think people should be too concerned about Tyson Fury's body shape. If that's his starting point for a fight that could happen in June, so what are we, 4 or 5 months away? He'll be fine. Trust me, he'll be fine. I think he looked about 21 stone. 21 stone, maybe 20 and a half stone. He has to get down to 19. He'll be okay, people. All right, I think that's it. Short and sweet vid today, innit? Short and sweet vid. I know everyone's still a bit like, about Josh Warrington. This is boxing, people. This is why we love it, right? This is why we fucking love it. Peace.